Welcome to R.A.I.D Pulp Action Series, Scarr Tooth Mountain. Hell of a problem we got this time. Some yuppie from up north done went and got himself mauled by one of the bears up in the mountain. Fool took his kid with him. Bear mauled both of them and took the kid. Probably buried him for later, says a man while rigging up his horse. Tan, tall, scarred, and tough, Garrett always talked to his horse before riding out. He knew Phantom could understand. Like any other partner, you talked over your plan with your companion. Garrett wasn't wrong. The man meant well. He just wanted to show his son the great outdoors, except he had no knowledge of the great scar-toothed bears that roam the mountains and plains. Scar-tooths are extremely aggressive hunters, with lethal senses, able to smell prey from over 3 miles away. As soon as the wind shifted, the pair was doomed. Riding headstrong into the southern wind, Garrett tracks a duo to their campsite where he finds it rummaged and broken. Damn fools, can't be up here acting like this. Out yonder the boy left some tracks. Approaching, he runs his fingers along the soil. Little some bitch knew to leave me something. Something to the earth were little boot prints, the heel barely visible. Anyone else would have missed it. The grass was just leaning to the left, unnatural. The bear didn't attack here, but the boy left in a hurry nonetheless. No tracks from the father. Very strange. The old man didn't leave nothing. That ain't right. Ain't nobody moving without leaving tracks. Circling the area, Garrett checks for anything but finds nothing relating to the father. He does, however, discover a bootlace from the boy, just 4 inches long, cut by a blade clean. This, he thinks, will tell him more than anything else. With a jolt, he suddenly leaps atop Phantom and rides like the wind. He smells it, like pine sifting through the air. Any other fool would have not bothered, but he knows. He knows what this means. A scar tooth is moving in fast and dragging the pine branches with it. It's a ways off, but close enough to be a threat. If the father had noticed this, he still might be here. As Phantom reaches full speed, the scar tooth appears larger than a grizzly, stronger than a polar bear, moving with the speed of a panther. Grabbing the reins, Garrett knows that Phantom is fast enough to sustain the both of them. But the scar tooth has remarkable stamina. He grabs his rifle, a Sharp's rifle, 5110 express round chambered, and positions Phantom closer to the higher ground. Well trained, the horse knows what to do. It instinctively climbs up the rocky terrain, adjusting at the top. Good boy. Damn bear can climb too, but he ain't gonna give me a good shot when he does, remarks Garrett, waiting for his shot. Charging upward, Garrett has only mere seconds to decide. No, his shot is off. Can't risk. Missing instead, he shifts down, knocking some of the rut loose on the hillside, and causing the bear to slide down fast. Remounting Phantom, he rides opposite of the wind, putting himself far away from the lethality of the bear's nose. Riding westward, Garrett comes along an odd sight. In its mouth, with the connective tissue and bristles about, a honey badger walks with the head of a dead dog. Yuppie mutt. Ain't nobody here bringing a snack like that round. Damn dog never had a chance. Snarling with a sinister sound, the honey badger walks confidently past the man and his horse. Yeah, get on you vicious little vermin. Starting a fire, using a hand-dug pit to attempt to hide the smoke, Garrett heats up clay, basalt, and granite from the river, placing it beneath the strips of moss and laying the boy atop it, then covering him with it like a blanket. Looking to the bootlace for guidance, Garrett knows well what this means. Bandits in the plains. Hang in there, son. May God protect you, mutters Garrett, as the snow continues to fall, leaving a calm before the coming storm. Tracking the hooves of the plains, Garrett finds the whereabouts of the bandits. Down by the river, that'll give me an advantage. The wind comes and hisses and howls, twisting within the bones of every living creature. Any other man would have been shaken, but not Garrett. Taking a small vial from his pack, Garrett sneaks away, taking Phantom to roost in a nearby forest. Old friend, we're gonna have to part ways to the end. Time is of the essence. Garrett hurries, taking used casings from his rifle, filling them with a small amount of gunpowder and a cloth roll of liquid from the vial, and rigging it with a stern line round the river and surrounding forest. Makes sense now. Them vermin got the father. Ain't gonna finish off the boy. Can't have him talking to lawmen over my dead body. Digging a pit in the riverbed, Garrett prepared several traps rigged with snares with a rock set within the crux of the riverbank, which once a man stamps onto, he will be viciously dragged to the freezing cold depths of the Red Pine River. Using his spent rifle casings, he sets yet more tiny wired traps with the shells filled with gunpowder, some containing nothing, while others containing crushed red pepper. As the sun draws low, it waits standing at attention for the hail that is about to be unleashed. Snow falls gently covering the traps and Garrett in a thin sheet of anticipation. At a little over 100 yards, Garrett aims his sharp rifle, takes a deep breath, holds it, then fires, hitting a bandit in the back. The bandit drops as the others jump to attention. Garrett covers himself in the snow, slowing his breath, waiting for his prey. As the men draw in, they hit a small snare. A small pop is heard, then nothing. Laughing, the men hold the small trap, taunting its creator. "What's this, boy? Little old powder keg? This ain't nothing but a little powder keg. You dead fool." Unbeknownst to the men, they have been hit with a deadly substance. Those tiny rolls of cloth held something sinister, as the men would soon find out. Deep within the forested plains comes a presence, something familiar to every man on the mountain, as the smell of pine sweeps the area. Blood curls in pre-punctured veins as a terrible war travels across the area. With a leap from the bush, a terrible scar-toothed bear attacks, dragging one of the men away in a trail of blood and gore. Ripping out his entrails, it drags him deep into the forest. In this blood-soaked revelation, the men discover that the small snares weren't harmless at all, but filled with mating pheromones from the female Scarr Tooth, which sends the males into a vicious mating frenzy. As all men do, and just as Garrett had planned, they run to the river in a desperate yet futile attempt to cleanse the pheromones. It takes much more than water to wash off this deadly poison. It takes specialized enzymes that the outlaws have no access to. The fools bombard the Scarr Tooth with bullets, which are absorbed by its thick fat, enraging the creature. Go ahead. Waste it, thinks Garrett, using the beast as a makeshift target to absorb all their ammo. Ah! Scream after scream is heard as the men trigger the snares in the water, their weight causing the makeshift platform to break over the pits in the riverbank. Deep and fast, they sink to the weighted stones, sinking the traps and with them the hopes of the men as they sink to the bottom. "Surrender! Surrender! We done, boy! Parlay! No more! No more!" screams the leader. His pleas fall on deaf ears, for Garrett Briggs is not a merciful man. He wasn't in the war, and he won't be here either. He fires one shot, hitting the leader atop the head with a thick and deep thud. Knocking part of his skull off, it flies in pieces with hair attached, hitting the others as blood flows further, attracting the dreadful Scarr Tooth. The men scream in horror as their leader falls face first into the ice-cold river. Screams continue as several men are drugged and drowned in the icy pits of the Red Pine River. Fleeing, the remaining men trigger more snares, causing loud casings of gunpowder to go off, hidden in the cliffs by their ears, adding deafness to their frenzied sense and freezing bodies. Garrett finally moves from his location, wielding in his right hand a homemade blade mended to strong cedar and forged in the shape of a hand axe. He stalks one of the men unfortunate enough to escape the burrows. With a mighty swing, he removes half the man's head with one blow. The blow echoes up his arm and into the burrows, alarming the men. Lighting a small piece of dynamite, Garrett throws it above, causing a collapse and trapping the men in the burrows. Nature gonna take its course, boys. No water, food in there. In a few days, you all gonna be bear food. With this final sermon, Garrett runs to Phantom and rides like the wind to the boy, finding him still warm and at death's door. Wrapping him in a blanket, he carries the boy and his hope for survival across the Red Pine Plains, off Scarr Tooth Mountain, and into God's hands. The bitter wind stings his face as he offers a subtle prayer that the boy may live, that the will of men and God combined may salvage him. Arriving at long last to an outpost, Garrett brings the boy to the surgeon, who after several hours can barely salvage the boy. Lighting a cigar and offering one final respect to God, he rides, as he has always done, back to the mountain and plain where a fearsome beast awaits any who would dare cross the gap. Many may think of this mighty scar-toothed bear, but I speak of course of another, a beast of vengeful terror and wrath, a man of merit and might, of blood and guts. I speak of the Red Pine Rifleman, none other than Sheriff Garrett Briggs. The end.